You're welcome back from the break. You're still watching This Morning on Metro TV. You can see I'm smiling because I'm excited about this topic that we'll be discussing. And our guest is here, Dr. Eyram Awusanya-Sosu is here with us, and she's a general practitioner at Homemed. And we're talking allergies. There's a theory that it is for people born, to rich parents, for the rich kids, the bees and all of that. She says Doc, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Too.
Great. That theory that it's for rich kids, is it really true?
Well, yes, to some extent. Not that it's only for rich kids, but then over time, certain theories have come up as to why allergies are prevalent amongst many children. Most people realize that it's mostly amongst children who are born in a certain area. But then it's just a theory. There's no true proof. There's no actual proof to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to find that out because lots of people do say that.
Yeah,
but let's begin with what allergies really are.
Okay. Allergies are what we'll call a hypersensitive reaction to the environment or to stimulus or anything that happens around them. So you have people having hypersensitive reactions to food, to air, to dust, some to mites. Sometimes even to certain animals, and even when animal bites, they have like a hypersensitive reaction. So someone else might not have such a high reaction, but then another person will have a more severe reaction. And then it ranges from mild to sometimes even life-threatening.
Yeah, that's serious. But you mentioned the environment. It means someone can be born in an environment that doesn't have any allergic reaction, but then he or she can develop it.
Yes, actually, allergies come after a person has been priorly sensitized. Okay. So the way the body works is that the body meets the thing for the first time, maybe meets the air, meets whatever, dust. And then the body decides that, okay, I've seen this, I don't like this. So it begins to create some kind of a memory for it. And then the next time the person is exposed to it, then it flares up.
Wow.
So that's how it actually happens.
Can't we have a vaccination for that? You see, growing up, we do Apollo and do other things. Can't we? Because you said when you are born into the environment, then you get it.
Yes.
Like when you're exposed.
Yeah.
So can't we get a vaccine for that?
Not really, because of the way, vaccines are usually used for infectious diseases.
Okay.
Allergies are not, it's not infectious.
Okay.
You get it. So there's no way that you can have a vaccine for it. However, there are certain treatments and certain medications that they can use for people who are prone to have allergies, because most of the time it's genetic. Most of the time it's genetic. If maybe your mom has it, there's a higher chance that you might have it. You get it.
So what's the difference between the whole allergic reaction and symptoms? What's the difference?
It's the same.
It's the same. The allergic reaction.
The allergic reaction is the symptom. So some people come with rashes. They have rashes all over their body. It is a symptom. But then for us to determine that it's an allergic reaction, we're supposed to find an offending agent. So the offending agent might have been the food, might have been, some people are allergic to water actually. Certain people.
Maybe water with chlorine.
Like different things, water with chlorine, not just like inert water.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
so
serious.
it might have. So we have to determine the offending agent. Once you determine the offending agent,
the offending agent, that is what is triggering.
That's what's triggering it exactly. Then.
Wow.
So in your practice, I want to understand the life-threatening part. What are some of some of the things that people have come to the hospital with, respect to allergies that are like really life-threatening? I want to understand some of that.
I don't know if you know this, but asthma is a form of allergic reaction. It's a hypersensitivity reaction. And then when a person who is having an asthmatic attack, they are exposed to the dust, smoke, whatever. And then the muscles around their neck, and then certain muscles inside their trachea, like where they breathe from, starts to constrict. So it makes it difficult for them to breathe. And then that's how come they have to use the inhaler and everything. So that is towards life-threatening.
That is the height of it.
Yes. Some people also have what we call, there are different levels. Some people have what we call anaphylactic shock. So that is when, so they start with, maybe you realize that their face is swelling up, their lips are swelling up, they're unable to breathe, and then they start to wheeze, and then you realize that their blood pressure starts going very low. That's life-threatening. Such a case has to go to the hospital for an emergency treatment.
I mean, in all of this, I'm trying to think about myself that, do I have any allergies? I've been trying.
You don't have allergies?
I've been trying to think about it, if I have any food, anything like that. But how about kids? How should parents handle kids? And how would they know that my kid is allergic to this so that they can handle that situation really well?
Okay, so that comes with observation most of the time.
Okay.
It's very important to observe your children as they go to school and everything else, because you may not know. Sometimes your child will go to school and will probably come up with a rash, or maybe you fed your child something, came up with a rash. Once it repeats, you have to have it in mind that this might be an allergic reaction to something that he's exposed to. So you should start from there. It's very important to observe, because the first time you see it, it might not be that serious, and then as time goes on, it becomes like more serious. But some children don't have the more serious reaction to it, so it's okay. And some children have the more serious reaction. Sometimes, too, if you're a parent and you realize that growing up, you yourself, you had certain allergies, you were allergic to certain things, it might be important for you to take special note of those things to help prevent your children from having like more severe reactions to it,
Okay.
So it's all about observation. Once you observe, it makes it easier for you to know what to do next, okay? And then once you realize that this is what my child is allergic to, or this is the offending agent, you try to remove it. If it's something in the food, you take it out of the food. I mean, the air, you can't really do much about it. Harmattan season, dust, pollen, and all of that. You can't do much about it. But then, as much as possible, you try to just protect your child from things that may harm them in that way. And then you have to note that once it gets severe, or once you realize that the child is uncomfortable, anything, just go to the hospital. Because it will be better than staying at home and saying, oh, it will pass, and then you haven't gone to the hospital, you don't know how severe it is, and then you might come back with a very bad prognosis.
So what are the types of treatments available for allergic reactions?
Okay, so first of all, you have to remove the offending agent. Okay. That's what you do first. Okay. Then subsequently, we have different types of treatment. Sometimes it's symptomatic, depending on the severity. Okay. So sometimes if the person has a rash, it's case specific. Person has a rash, there are certain creams that the doctor might prescribe. And I'm saying doctor because sometimes when you go over the counter, you're not really sure what you're looking for. You might end up getting something that might not help. You may end up worsening the situation. Okay. So there are certain creams, we call them corticosteroids, but then there are certain doses, especially for children, that you should use for the skin. And then once it's, within 3 days, you should have it come down. If it doesn't come down, it means you're dealing with something else, you have to go to the hospital. Okay. And then also there are certain, sometimes these corticosteroids, the allergic reaction is as a result of your immune system overreacting. Okay, so some of the corticosteroids are ingested, so they can give it to the child, and then everything calms down. So it depends on the severity. These are the treatments that you should go for. And then, in the case of asthma, for instance, there are certain medications that are even in the inhaler that they use that will open up their airways and allow them to breathe. So it's case specific. Some people have allergic reactions in their eyes, their eyes start to itch, and then the eyes get dry. So there are certain eye drops that we can give to the children, and then it makes it a little bit better.
I appreciate the fact that you mentioned asthma, because I know asthmatic patients are allergic to aspirin. Some asthmatic patients are allergic to aspirin. And why is this so? Because majority of the medicines that are effective if they take it today, they'll feel better, have aspirin in it. So how do they combine it? You see, some medicines have salbutamol. In asthma, Ventolins and stuff, they have salbutamol in it. But I know of other drugs that do have aspirin in combination of salbutamol.
For a child?
Yes, or even an adult. So how are you to combine that? Because you take aspirin, an asthmatic takes aspirin, it's bad. So how, in such a situation, what is the alternative for that particular person?
Okay, so aspirin is not really your first, should I say, first line if you are going to treat asthma.
No, like when you, is it APC, FPAC?
FPAC?
Yes. FPAC. Like let's say you have a headache. It has aspirin in it.
Why don't you go for rather paracetamol instead of aspirin?
It's 250.
Because
it's 250 ml. It's low.
The problem with aspirin is that unless it is for certain, there are only certain conditions that we prescribe aspirin for.
Okay.
And someone there's something called atopy. Okay, atopy is the person's predisposition to having reactions, like allergic reactions to so many different things. So if someone has asthma, there is a history of atopy in the family. Okay. So such a person, you realize that there's a likelihood of them being allergic to so many other things. Okay. But for asthma especially, there is a step-by-step treatment that we follow, none of which actually contain aspirin. Okay. So if you are dealing with someone who has a headache or something, go for something more inert like paracetamol, which also works. Okay. Rather than aspirin.
I mean, my final question to you would be that is it possible for someone to have allergies not at a younger age, but when the person grows up, or it usually starts when you're young?
It's possible to see it or to see the manifestation of it as it grows. Okay. You know, but most of the time there is a predisposition to it. But then it's possible that maybe as they were younger, they were not. Sometimes you realize that they may not have been so exposed to it. Okay. You know, and then it's when they grew up that you realize. So, for instance, some people are allergic to seafood. They didn't have it when they were a child because they didn't have seafood. Or they didn't eat seafood. Yeah. Then they grow up and then they go to a restaurant, they try sushi or something, and then it flares up. You see, so the person might have always been allergic to seafood, but then because that was when they were exposed to it, that's when it comes up.
Okay, so this one we've gotten to understand what allergies are. So apparently there's the food allergies, the drug allergies, every environment, anything allergy. So what would be your final advice to people who have allergic reactions or allergic to certain things, and any final thing you want to add?
Yeah, I would just like to say that it's normal. You're not strange in any way. Okay. That's the first thing that you should understand, that you're not strange. Your body just overreacts to certain things. And everybody has something that might be wrong with them. No one is perfect. So what is important for you is to take note of what your body doesn't like and omit it from your diet and from, as much as possible, your daily routine. Yeah. And the more you omit these things, the better you become. Yeah. So just, you're not strange at all. It's just, also, it happens.
Friends should also understand that their friends are allergic to certain things. Asthmatic patients don't like certain perfumes. Yes. So they should understand and cut them down.
I don't know if I know where this is coming from. Yeah. But anyways, thank you very much, Dr. Eyram Awusanya-Sosu, for joining us. Thank you. We wish you the very best. And Nana?
Oh, that's it. I've enjoyed it today.
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed every bit of it.